the context of the workplace. For the first time in many years, we've got unanimity on the question of pathway to citizenship. And these issues are being used not by our allies, but by our enemies.
That's right.
Immigration has always been about jobs and who can get holes the worst and the easiest. The immigration processes that we've been arguing about goes all the way back to the Bracero program of the 1940s and 50s, where Hispanic workers are brought in to do the crop of the season and then go back. Well, folks wised up. Why do I have to go back? So we now got an 11 to 12 million population who have been here for a long time and who are entitled to full citizenship and the right to earn a living and come out of the shadows. That is the position of organized labor now. It should have been maybe a long time ago, but it is true. We're on the same page now, and we're going to get it done. I would give you a point. When Katrina hit a few years back, labor contractors with unemployment in New Orleans ranging in the 25 to 30%, they didn't go in to find workers in New Orleans. They went and brought workers from across the border because they know they could exploit those workers a lot quicker than they could exploit the brothers and sisters from the Ninth Ward. So we've got to be clear among ourselves who the enemy is, and it's not each other. It is the one who has the power to make life more difficult for each of us. Now, we also have to remember, I want to go to the economic situation. When apartheid came down, it is hard to understand the difference in economic standing between white South Africans and black South Africans, or in the institutions that supported the South African economy. I mean, there was such an incredible difference that you could not, it's impossible to solve it in an overnight fashion. And as a matter of fact, among the pro-democratic forces, there was not even agreement as to how that should be taken on. The South African stock market, a small stock market, ran off of the pension funds of workers who didn't know it was their money. And the effort to form a way to create a stake in the South African economy had to be done in a lot of ways. Some of it was called unbundling, if you remember the discussions, where a selected group of black South Africans, because of status or whatever, were given a spot on boards and commissions and et cetera, to try and create a way where economic activity would flow down to the majority of South Africa. Didn't happen. It didn't happen for a whole host of reasons. But that doesn't mean you should not continue to try. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, the big controversy in South Africa was young, bright, smart, professional South Africans becoming rich and wealthy off the struggles of the people who came 20 years ago was a major point of controversy, and probably still is. People who fought the hardest to remove apartheid are now beneficiaries of having removed it. And a good friend of mine, a fellow by the name of Cyril Ramaphosa, who led the negotiations and negotiated the Constitution of South Africa, is now a very well-to-do businessman. But he should not be punished because he is well-to-do, because he's bright, and because he's able to deal with the new system. But I mean, I'm not convinced that we want a South Africa where everybody is equally poor. What we want is ways and means for finding ways to develop an economy that will pay workers based on their contribution to the economy. If America had South Africa labor laws, we'd be happy. The labor laws built into the Constitution guarantees workers the right to join and form unions and bargain collectively. That's all we ask for here. We can't get that here. So, I mean, so there are a lot of challenges in the brief history of the end of apartheid. What are we talking about, 20, 25 years? I mean, you can't take a country where somebody said 17% of the land, the 17% that was given to the black South Africans was on the face of a vertical cliff. These are people who in their own homeland cannot own land that was usable for economic and agricultural gain. I mean, when we listen to the right wing talk about what's going on in South Africa, you would think that South Africa has been a democracy for the last 200 years. This is recent history. And with all of the shortcomings, the legacy of Mandela is the commitment to a process that will move South Africa forward. And the thing we have to remember is that goes on after his passing, and we cannot accept the notion that everything is tied to him. Everything is tied to a system. The system's got some flaws, and you bet your life. But it's the only system that's in place right now.